storyline! Yay! So the other day for the Honkai Star Rail anniversary stream, we did a few things. One of which at the very end was I sort of started the story for this update, and did not. The thing that happened kind of went well and kind of didn't. We were asked to try to take on the core flame of the Titan of Time, Orynyx, as their core flame had been prematurely taken away. Now we had it, and we were going to try to become the demigod of time. Well, it sounds like that succeeded. What didn't succeed, or what we found out, is that actually our main character has been dead the whole time. So apparently something happened when we crash landed, and we basically died. And we're just sort of living in a state of like how the whole Orynyx mechanic is like the evernight and like the daytime, and like switching between the past and the present. And it seems as though we are just like a past version of ourselves whose memories are just sort of existing in this world as a person, but we're actually dead. Yeah, not going great. Meanwhile, we started going around with Professor Anaxa and Circe's. I gotta say, the interactions between Anaxa and Circe are really funny. It's just so funny to me how sassy both of them are with each other. Yeah. I can't remember what Circe said, but then Anaxa was like, how do two lunatics share the same brain? Circe's is basically in Anaxa's head. And it always looks like Anaxa's talking to himself, but he's not. He's talking to Circe's. And it's like, yeah, the two smartest people in the room share the same brain cell. So funny. Anyway, sounds like Anaxa is trying to have a audience with the Council of Elders, and has now ended up making a journey to the top of the hill where he can meet with Kefali. Meanwhile, Danhung and Hyacinth have found Anaxa's lab and are realizing he's trying to do some kind of experiment with fusing a human and a Titan soul or body or something like that together. It's kind of scary stuff. And they realize, oh no, he's trying to get to Kefali. Because, alright, well that's where we left off now. I've left off now. Yeah, a lot of funny stuff, but now we're getting into the serious stuff. I literally, because the story continues on for so long, like, first of all, the story in this game is really good, but it is also extremely long, and also doesn't give very many gaps, so that's why we are on this screen, because I did have to exit out of the game in order to get to the part where I want to leave off at, because there's literally been no gaps for my character to like, walk away from the story. Anyway, that's the recap. Where we're at right now. So I think Anaxa and Circe's are meeting with Kefali. Oh, right!
Sir, this sky above us, it's not real, is it?
Well, Genshin Impact be like. Yeah, also Anaxa was seeing like these like memories of what appeared to be Circe's and two other friends, but Circe's is no recollection of this happening ever, or who these people are. So, yeah.
Of course not. This is just an image from a projection device used for educational purposes. A simple trick. The day-night cycle has been lost to this world, so that students like you may still learn about the night sky. Astronomers have harnessed the Titan's miraculous power to manipulate the light, projecting the nights of the past here for you.
Oh yeah, and one other thing is that I guess like Hyacinth was noting how that the difference between Aquila, or the Sky Titan, and Circe's, the Reason Titan, which is Circe's, is super open to all these different ideas, and because you know that's important to studying and learning, is a difference of ideas, versus Aquila being a very stern and harsh god, controlling the sky and basically creating this illusion that keeps the idea of the Titans being mighty alive. And so it was probably them who were super angry, or I guess the fact that we're trapped here is because Aquila is angry with us for exposing that the sky isn't real, or that there's something beyond the sky that they see.
Much like how the sky above the holy city is also illuminated by Kefali's dawn device.
So, the skies of Akama are fake too.
Yeah, the skies
You mustn't
are fake.
conclude that, Anaxa. You should know that only a child would expose a trick and be proud of it. Often people know more than they let on. They simply choose to feign ignorance because they have no other choice.
Then they're just deluding themselves. People believe in Kefali's tale of Genesis, accepting wholesale whatever the priests preach. But we're different. We've already walked out of the firelit cave of ignorance.
Yeah, that's what scholars do, is they ask questions about the world.
We have already realized that
right?
we live in a world where titans make the rules. Even when we look at the sky, we're only seeing what they allow us to see. Rather than gazing at this mockery of a night sky fabricated by them for the rest of my life, why shouldn't I be the one to take control of the projection device instead?
So much time has passed since you sowed the seeds of doubt in my heart, child. Many a night, I find myself penning down all my theories and wild ideas, only to burn them to ashes when I open my eyes in the day.
Why? Because we'll face death by burning if word gets out?
As a sage of the Venerationists, my soul has already become inextricably linked to the great tree. Every word I say and every move I make is certain to influence every leaf, every branch, even the tree itself. But above all else, my days are numbered. Instinctively, I have my doubts about the golden blood and the human soul, yet I have no means of verifying them. The golden blood in my veins is woefully thin, and I am loath to waste what little time I have left obsessing over a hypothesis that cannot even be proven in the first place.
But I can, sir. I can do it for us. The time is right. Give me all that I need, and I shall accomplish this grand feat on your behalf.
You're right. I shall do just that. In the next meeting of the sages, I will spare no efforts fighting for the rights you deserve. Go. Establish your own school of thought. Find out what we are. Become the one who conquers the ultimate truths of the world.
Child of humanity.
Where to now?
You didn't go to such lengths for an audience with Kefali. Just ask him a few questions, did you?
So, you figured it out. If I were as foolish as Adromus, perhaps I'd throw myself down and prostrate before their greatness, begging for the gods' prophetic wisdom. Well, sorry to disappoint, but I'm no Dromus. Alas, I am a human, standing tall on 2 feet, possessing both intellect and pride.
Before such power, does it make any difference whether you're a human or a Dromus?
I'm sure you're familiar with the story of the Styxians. When the raging
Remind
waves
us.
threatened to swallow them, they didn't just give up and become sitting ducks. No. They constructed a dam that kept the roaring tide at bay, chaining down the mad Fagusa. They call me a blasphemer, Circes. But that doesn't mean I deny the existence of gods. It's just... as I see it, Titans are simply a force that mankind has yet to find a way to tame.
Well, I can see why people would think that's blasphemous.
If power that
It does
rivals
bring
the
up a good
Titans is
point.
what you crave, why not conform to the prophecy and brave the trial?
Yeah, you could become the next Cersei's. Except right now
Why
he's
stop at
fused
harnessing
to
the power
Cersei's
of the
because of his
Titans
experiment,
when
it
I
sounds
can
like.
do so much more? The source of life is what I wish to grasp, to understand what makes up the soul, and to learn what we really are.
He's gonna go.
Thanks to you,
He's
I've had the chance to personally verify, in more ways than one,
almost
that the
craving
soul
knowledge
indeed
to the point
ceases
he's
to
going
exist
crazy.
in death. But where there is death, there is life. And where there is an end, there must also be a beginning. How then is a soul born? That was the only unknown variable left in my calculations.
And by the sound of it, you have already formed a conjecture.
No, I have already drawn a conclusion. In my journey unto death just now, I finally saw the answer.
Yeah, that's
with
right.
my
Anoxa's
own
gonna die in
eyes.
15 days too.
Professor
Coincidentally.
Anaxa.
Okay, somebody else is here. Coincidentally, the same amount of time we have before our soul dies for good too. What a coincidence, right?
I'm here.
Hello, Pastors.
Her life hangs by a thread. I must ask you to refrain from taking any unnecessary steps.
Of course. I'll bring this to a conclusive end, and give you the answer you so desire. However, in accordance with the principle of equivalent exchange, I must also demand from you what I need.
As you wish.
Don't you care to know what the price might be?
It's a matter of uncovering the truth about the Death Titan and her survival. This may be the only time I can ever save someone's life. There is no need for me to think twice.
I see. In that case, let the show begin.
The show? What are you doing?
Indulge me. Am I correct to say that you intend to prove Thanatos' whereabouts and prove the nature of our existence now?
Before I begin, I must confess I had been stuck in a cognitive trap all this time.
Okay.
As unrelated as these two propositions may seem at first glance, they are in fact logical equivalents. They are merely two different ways of telling us about what the soul is at its core. The reason I say this is, as I've mentioned earlier, the answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Anaxa, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now, but that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes.
Yeah.
That's not all.
Those three
Remember how I
figures.
said you were a part of that conversation too, Cersei's?
And I've told you that I have no recollection of such an event. That was likely just an illusion conjured up by the mind of a dying man.
But then, can you remember anything from your past?
Of course you would remember. Because that wasn't you. That was Calypso, one of the 7 sages of the Grove.
And remember, when we first met Cersei, she told us that she was Calypso from the 7 Sages. And when we first met Nikador, he told us he was Lord Nias. And so...
Calypso?
That's the name I made up on a whim when speaking to this girl. How do you know of it? And surely you jest. Don't you think I, of all people, would know if that were the name of one of the 7 sages under the shade of my tree? Don't you claim to know the grove's past like the back of your hand?
It seems you've lost even the memories seared into your soul.
Unless she doesn't have a
Use your
soul
head,
anymore.
Circes. Since all of this took place in the realm of the dead, it stands to reason their likenesses are of souls from the past. The living cannot step foot into that world, so who could they be? Think about Calypso. Why does she share your likeness, yet you have no idea who she is? The answer is evident, is it not? Those
That she
fallen
was her past
heroes
life?
are the mortal incarnations of the Titans
Yeah.
before
Oh
their
my gosh. So
ascensions
those are
to
the past
godhood.
lives of the Titans.
The gods aren't master creators born out of thin air, and they are no different from humans, because they all evolved from one.
So then, from this logic, when the Chrysos heirs become demigods, don't they just become new Titans? Because if the Chrysos heirs are just humans that took on the Titans' power, but the Titans themselves were humans that took on this power. Actually, maybe that's the point he's getting to. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Does this answer disappoint you?
Yes, because you've answered nothing. If I truly was once human, as you claim, then where do the children of humanity come from?
Well, that's an easy one, which is clearly not from the gods, because we have people, not just on Amphoreus. Now that we've arrived and basically shattered the sky, okay, this is... I guess that's why the gods, or the Titans here, really need to keep up this illusion that there's nothing beyond the sky, and that they're the ones that created all of this. Because if they just turn out to be just humans, and sure enough there's proof that humans exist all over the galaxy and all these other planets and all these other factions that exist out there, including us, the Trailblazers, then that completely gets rid of the entirety of the mythology and lore of this world. Because indeed, humans probably came from somewhere else and got trapped here or something like that. Or maybe they were originally from here, but either way, probably were not created by the Titans. Nor was the world created by the Titans. And thus, this is why Anaxa is asking the important questions that nobody wants him to ask.
Even on the off chance that you speak the truth, this brings us no closer to grasping Thanatos' whereabouts. How are we to find them?
I mean, I guess it shouldn't be that foreign of an idea to them. That
I knew you would say that.
That people...
But it matters not.
Because we came from the sky,
I
right?
know what I'm doing. Actually, why don't we have this supreme being standing before us tell us everything?
Okay.
You can revive a Titan?
Humans cannot return from the dead. Neither can gods. But all we need to do is look at this from a different perspective, and the problem will resolve itself. The solution is simple. Just like what you did to me. If I'm reborn as Kephali, I can rebuild the world and all within it as they once did. Simple.
Well,
Is
how
it
are you
not?
gonna manage that? Not that I'm questioning that you can. I mean, like, out of concern, how do you think you're gonna... How do you intend to?
From Hyacinth and Dunhung. Anaxa might be trying to do something with Kephali's divine body.
Yeah, that's pretty evident now.
Kephali? But what could Anaxa want? Is the Council of Elders going to sit around and let such a sacrilegious act unfold?
That is not possible. he is indeed the great performer, capable of fooling anyone and everyone with his tricks.
I'm sorry.
No need for guilt, for this is good news to us. The Council of Elders has found themselves a traitorous ally. Anaxa's ambitious desires will be something we can exploit. What we should be doing now is to keep our eyes peeled for whichever trickery Kindness is up to, and react accordingly to thwart her plans. Being Akima's political center, the Demigod Council holds just as much significance as the Vortex of Genesis. Someday, after my duty is over, this site will take the place of the battlefield where you hunt gods. Become the next challenge you ought to overcome. Till then, it's best to get used to this place as soon as possible.
I guess we can kind of think of like the Vortex of Genesis and the prophecy, the flame chase, the Chrysos heirs. Like, they're like the gods. But if we're comparing this to sort of like Greek mythology or like ancient Greece, then that's where sort of the beginning of, say, democratic systems and that type of law and order kind of comes from. And that's what they're trying to reflect with the Council of Elders and the Dawn Cloud Demigod Council, with that sort of taking the place of essentially the gods eventually. Although it seems like even though they do have their governance here, just like in the mythology, the gods are still quite revered, and there's a lot of complicated feelings and history towards them. Anyway, we'll be waiting here for your good news. So,
Preposterous! The Chrysos heirs only have their standing because of the Council of Elders. How dare they trample over it?
Geez, we just walked in. Wow, these people are shooting daggers with their eyes. We literally just stepped foot in here. We haven't even done anything yet.
It's been
hi,
a while.
Crateros. What are these responses? No, we remember Crateros, who saved Trian and was really mad at the prophecy because it got in the way of Mighty becoming a king, but then went to see it with Trian and saved her, or at least saved her doll form. And anyway, glad to see you recovered, Oleg of Amphoreus. I can't say we've never met because I just remember that we met, but so I guess I have to give this one.
What is that supposed to mean? Is this really the sort of person that the young lord praised as a ferocious warrior?
Yeah, we don't really act like that.
It has indeed been some time, Lord Crateros. What brings you here in such haste?
Shh, keep it down. Be more vigilant. See those duplicitous dogs over there? They do the dirty work for Kindness. I've already ordered my people to hold them back, but we should still lay low. Unless you're itching for a bloody fight to get a workout in.
Not today.
My bad. So, did something happen?
Did you hear thunderclaps last night?
It would be hard not to notice thunderclaps in broad daylight. No, I'm a heavy sleeper. Hooray, it's Acheron. Someone's coming to save us. Well, I mean, I don't even know what happened to Acheron, but sure.
Hacker? What?
She could be here.
She's been through a lot lately. Please pardon her. Can you tell us
Giving the
more
most
about these
embarrassing
thunderclaps?
answers possible, because in a video game you can do anything you want with no
Thunderclaps are
consequences.
beacon signals of strife. They are a message from the young lord. He threw a spear bearing several words at Akama.
Okay.
Watch out. The Flame Reaver is back.
Sounds good. Thanks for the heads up.
Guessed as
I
much.
love how they did that in
We didn't
Mighty's
actually
voice.
kill them back at the Kremnos arena.
Yeah, where did they go?
I figured this is something you would want to know. We Kremnoans never back down
Are we
from a
supposed to
fight.
figure out who they were?
So if
but
you
they
plan
looked
to take
very
that
much
thing
like
down in a
Grim
battle,
Reaper-like, so I assume they
reach
have
out
something
to
to do
me
with
anytime.
Thanatos.
You have my gratitude. I will let Aglaya know about this right away.
Remind her to be on her toes while you're at it.
Will do.
That vicious kindness has been unusually active lately. Those lackeys she keeps under cover have been going in and out of the city a lot more frequently these days. Some even seem to be getting Kremnoans to defect to the council.
Well, that would take a lot of effort because I'm pretty sure the Kremnoans take a lot of pride in not really getting involved. Is that so? I was okay. So, ignoring what's going on here, I was wondering about this cube here when I first came to Dawn Cloud. Is that Kefali's core flame? I would have thought Kefali's core flame would be closer to Kefali, but I guess it's just in the middle here in front of Kefali.
That's...
Looks like you can see it for yourself.
We should get back. Thank you for the intel, Lord Krateros.
Okay. We were in Anaxa's point of view just now, and I was exploring this place as him. And I was like, I don't know why, it's why are we still trapped onto Penacony?
By Kefali into Lenten above, as the Theoros.
Oh yeah, this is the
I
guy.
have observed.
This is the guy who let Anaxa up there with Kefali.
Virtuous citizens of Akama, Finan Vides, Elysiae, and the Outlander are heading toward us.
Anyway, that was funny. I don't know why it's funny to me. He just like has a gun and shoots things. I realize now also because I did all the exploration. Oh, okay, I guess we have some of the waypoints. I was like, because we did all the exploration as Anaxa, I realized probably some of this stuff is not as uncollected.
What happened here?
But I don't think any of the treasure chests would be.
I know about the poisonous fangs of that king snake through the golden threads. In the past, I would be confident about keeping her in check, but I admit I am now unable to do so.
What are we talking about?
It is no longer about eloquence or arguments. I have been a demigod for far too long that I hardly have any humanity left. Before I realized it, I have become no different from these hypocrites, no longer capable of relating to the people.
Okay, well that might be true, but what's the problem here?
But
oh, we need Finon to
it
step
is
up
time.
because he's actually
I need you
not
to step
cold
up,
and
Finon,
stern and
in order for me to
this
retreat
leader
behind
who
the scenes.
seems like so lofty
Yes,
and
this
high
is my duty,
above the people.
but
Okay. Well,
It is
Finon, it
far
seems like
easier
it's your
for the
turn now.
Council of Elders to fool many than just fool one person. Their so-called more support is no more than a ruse to distribute power using words instead of lances. There is no glory in winning this debate, but that makes having respect for humans so much more priceless. Finan, you are a Chrysos heir without flaw, capable of relating deeply with humans.
I don't want to say
appreciate
anything
what you've taught me,
prematurely,
Adlaya.
but I feel like
I hope
Finon
we'll
is eventually
live
going
up
to be
to
the
your
one to get
expectations
Kefali's
and win
core
this
flame.
debate.
Otherwise, they would have released him as a playable character by now. They're waiting for him to do something exciting in the story.
Oh, you've done well, Lord Calictus. Let me take over and personally close this debate for today.
Uh-oh, okay. I'm scared of her, but...
Dearest counselors, let it be known that I sorely miss the blissful times portrayed in lyrical poems. Back then, Amphoreus was home to nearly 1,000
That actually
cities,
sounds like a wonderful
each with their
time.
own local faith,
would love to
while
explore that
gods
in
walked the earth and shared close bonds with humans.
Now we can only explore the memory versions
Yet,
of those places.
in the present, people from all over are forced to leave their homeland to seek refuge in the holy city, where they hope to rest under Kefali's protection. All of us have long been in the same boat with no way out of this plight. We didn't have a choice in the past, but now The Council of Elders brings to the table a new possibility. All I have left is one question for you.
And that is,
Would you
want
rather
to get rid of
strive
the
toward
Christos
unheard
heirs?
of
Oh,
Aranova?
yeah, okay, exactly.
Or return to the prosperous Era Chrysia of our past? Make your choice.
Well, if it was possible to return to the prosperous
Now,
Era Chrysia.
which of the two would lead mortals to an ideal future?
You know, as tempting as that sounds, I mean, here's the thing is, we don't really know much about the Era Nova other than the prophecies of the Chrysos heirs, which actually don't really seem that spectacular in terms of, like, Treebe's prophecy. It's like only one will survive. I think that's referring to her or all of her duplicates. And, Aglaya's one where she's gonna die or something like that. But that, I guess, here's my question, which I'm sure will be answered either this story or in the future versions, is where did the prophecy come from? Here we are with Anaxa trying to ask all these difficult questions about who are the Titans, if they're truly not all-powerful and the creators of the world, and I say there's some strong evidence to suggest that's the case, then where did this prophecy come from? And what does it mean? But all we know is that we have to keep striving towards it. Here is a suggestion that they can somehow return things to how it was in the past. But even if you get rid of the flame chase journey, how are you going to get rid of the black tide and all of these other problems plaguing Amphoreus? I don't think they can bring back the past. The question is, do they accept that they're in a dying world, or if they are trying to argue different ways to get it out of it, whether that's the flame chase journey or not. Anyway, I don't think you can go back to the past, so... The new one... Okay, hold on. Era Nova is a path of salvation the gods promised. We should not have doubts in the flame chase journey.
We all know that Era Chrysia is a thing of the past, Lady Kindness. Please, enlighten me. How does the Council of Elders plan to turn back time?
Let the three Titans of Calamity be born, and Era Chrysia is nevermore. But bring demise to those Titans, and Era Chrysia will descend upon us again.
Okay, how do you plan to do that?
Know that the Council of Elders is never one to make empty promises. Look at who we have on our side. Anaxagoras, one of the Grove's 7 sages, and Castorus, Idonia's goddess of death. With the help of these 2 heroes, I can promise all of you that Era Chrysia will exist once more.
It's very naive of you to think that they're helping you to help you.
Aren't they Chrysos heirs?
And that
they're supporting the
really
Council of
accounting for the
Elders
fact that they might be
instead?
helping you for their own personal
It's clear from the
ambitions
start
and
that these
goals.
heroes do not get along well in their group. All the more proof that Aglaya isn't fit to speak on behalf of every Chrysos heir. I am in favor of Era Chrysia.
Are we voting on this?
Era Chrysia!
I guess it's a put to a vote. I didn't think it was gonna be just... I didn't think it would just be a vote because, like, you haven't really specified exactly what you're planning to do, other than you got some big name support.
Castorus? Why are you standing over there?
You finally arrived, Anaxa. So have you, Cass.
Don't worry, Aglaya. Well, I know that you have many queries. Could you continue to converse like how the citizens normally do? Tell me, dear citizens, If we successfully retrieve and return Thanatos' core flame without anyone passing the Death Titan's trial, what would happen next?
The answer is simple. We will have a chance to rid the world of death and bring Amphoreus back to an era when all beings live forever. We'll usher in a new future that will be entirely different from the flame chase journey.
Well, for kindness, that sounds like naive. That sounds like a naive plan if I've ever heard one. Obviously, Anaxa has his own plans that he's working on separately from this.
Your proposal is much too idealistic. As long as the Black Tide still exists, how can we go back to the old
flame chase journey? At least have some other plan. It's like you can't just go back to living how you were before.
Remember what I previously said? Kefali's core flame is guarded by the secret power of the Council of Elders. Plus, Fagusa's water curtain will be able to block out any external perceptions. Tell me, dear citizens, have any of you ever seen even a glimpse of the threat that this person is talking about anywhere within the walls of this majestic holy city?
Isn't this just survivorship bias? Oh, no, what I would say is, as soon as you step foot out of the city, you can see it. And I'm pretty sure people are still free to do that, and they do that, and also the Flame Reaver.
Oh. Could it be that you heard that from the Flame Reaver themselves?
Well, no, we heard that from Mighty.
Citizens, let's loudly sing the blessed hymn. Oh, beautiful old world, where are you now? Oh, legendary Eracrysia, return to the mortal realm.
After the destruction of the 3 Titans of Calamity, the Flame Chase journey will have to end.
3 Titans. Where are the other 2? Which are the other 2 Titans? I assume it's Strife and... Would it be Cersei's? Just because that's the 3 that were talking with each other? I don't remember, even though I'm sure. I know that Aglaya explained this at the beginning.
The masses are now totally riled up.
We should just go along with Anaxa's plan, since I know he's not actually that interested
hinges on the premise that we can find
so much as
Thanatos' existence,
his own,
right?
His own plans.
Thank you, Lady Aglaya, for still caring about this city. However, dear citizens, we are truly fortunate and blessed. For Castorus, Idonia's goddess of death, will surely find Thanatos under my guidance.
I believe it.
What?
With that, I solemnly promise that the core flame Lady Castorus brings back will be personally managed by the Council of Elders. Thereafter, if we are able to garner the support of all of you at the Citizens' Assembly, we shall spare no effort in ensuring that the Eracrysia will return to our world once again.
Also, were you guys all immortal back when there was the Eracrysia? It sounds like all the gods, all the titans existed, and there was just different people living in different cities run by different titans. And it sounds like death was one of them, and that there were cities dedicated to death. So I once again failed to see how this helps your plan, because you're creating just a different type of utopia from before. You may as well give it a different name, but anyway.
With the balance shattered, the result is clear. By carefully into Lenten above, as the Theoros I have observed. Akama has chosen her destiny. The issue up for discussion at this Citizens' Assembly shall be modified to the suspension of the Flame Chase journey. This resolution shall be put up on the Wall of Heroes, such that all citizens are aware of the city's...
I mean, I'd say we stick with the Flame Chase journey as vigilantes instead of as official official.
Fantastic. Yes.
Aglaya, dear Aglaya. What has caused your heart to soften? You also don't seem to be as quick-witted as before.
Wag your tongue as much as you like. Since the flame chase journey has been preordained by the prophecy,
I see the names in the background.
On the cards.
Also, yeah, if the prophecy is true, then this is not a definitive thing.
Well then, I guess we'll find out if that's true at the Citizens' Assembly.
Sounds good. Alright. Cass, please explain. Okay, I didn't even read that. The Trailblaze are the same question, but we have the same question.
Well, it seems that when I sent you to look for Anaxa, I unintentionally facilitated your partnership with him instead.
Well, I'm sure she has her reasons. Let her explain.
My apologies, everyone. I know that you have many questions to ask me. I will answer them to the best of my knowledge.
In that case, please tell us as much as you can.
What happened when you went to look for Anaxa? Okay, it's giving me the option to get out, so I think it's gonna put me into...
In actuality, he showed me a past that was both long and heavy.
The reason I say this is as I've mentioned earlier. The answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Okay. Explain.
Anaxa, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now. But that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes.
Have you heard of this tale before?
Alexia.
A tale about the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown. It was a seaside town which enjoyed the ocean breeze and glorious, peaceful times, thanks to the wisdom of its ruling queen. Until one day, an evil dragon descended upon the town. Its wings were large enough to blot out the sun, while its claws were sharp enough to rip the waves apart. It barged into the tall tower and devoured the queen's beloved daughter. It even settled itself in her bedroom, like a tyrant king. The queen assembled 300 warriors who managed to subdue the evil dragon by chaining it up. However, when the queen slit open the dragon's belly, she realized that the princess had long since been digested, and all that was left of her was a pile of bones.
That's horrible.
Devastated, the queen wept for several days. It was then that a devious, smooth-talking scholar arrived at the palace and suggested that the princess could be revived through the use of dragon bone and dragon blood. That liar called this process the secret art of alchemy.
I'm already noticing parallels with this and also Rhine-Daughter and Albedo and Durin and Dragon's Blood.
The princess was reborn! The queen was overjoyed, blissfully unaware that the evil dragon's soul still lurked within the princess's body. As revenge, the evil dragon swallowed the poor queen, the glib liar, the courageous warriors, and all of the town's innocent civilians in a single gulp. Worse still, the souls of the deceased refused entry to the Netherrealm because they were filled with regret. Forced to roam the mortal realm, these resentful souls ultimately converged into a river of souls that would not retreat for a long time.
The river Styx.
The terrifying death had consumed all. Thereafter, our hometown fell into ruin as well. Until...
Until?
Actually, I don't know what happened next either.
Oh, my. It seems that you still like to whet people's appetites even after all this time, Pelixia. So, according to your story, this is how I used to look? It's practically a mirror image.
What he saw here?
And yet, what exactly is this?
A miracle that I created with alchemy. As for what it is and how I was able to accomplish it, I'll keep the answers to myself for now.
Oh, my goodness. Is this cliffhanger really necessary?
Hey, that's basically what you just said in the past, too.
Quiet, Titan. Continue to enjoy this splendid play, and the truth will naturally reveal itself.
Quiet, Titan.
Dragon, huh? I've heard this legend before.
In that case, what do you think of it?
I think that this so-called alchemy was a tenuous analogy added to the story by future generations. After all, you've never heard of a tradition of alchemy in your hometown before, have you?
Indeed. Before I left home to pursue my education, I never even knew that anybody was looking into this area of study.
Therefore, we can just treat this tale as a fable told to young children.
A fable, you say? If so, what moral is it trying to impart to the kids?
Good question.
I guess it might be the concept of equivalent exchange?
Oh? I thought the moral might be closer to something like honor the dead.
Oh yeah, that too.
Huh.
What? At a loss for words?
No. I merely realized that we're both thinking of the same principle. If life is priceless, then there is hardly anything else in this world that is of equal weight to it, right?
Indeed. As expected of the wisest scholar in the land.
You flatter me. Why don't I ask you a question as well, as a form of equivalent exchange?
Of course. What is your question?
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
What? What kind of strange question is this? I got it. You're just trying to get me to tell you whether I like anyone, right?
Let's just leave it at that.
Interesting.
That was rude of me.
Yes, I would.
Oh?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I'm certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. After all, you, me, and the rest will all have to face that fateful moment eventually. My time is finally here.
What happened to her?
However, perhaps because of my firm belief in the immeasurable value of life, I am unable to complete the trial.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains and be reborn with the dead flame.
That sounds just like
It is a pity that fate is such a cruel mistress.
Did that happen to Pelixia too?
Is there no other way of interpreting those words?
That's Lord Nice.
I'm afraid that the meaning is clear. Between my sister and me, one must pay the price. Our trial can only be completed when the one chosen sacrifices her life.
That's such a sad fate.
I'm afraid that the prophecy might even have selected a pair of twins for this exact purpose.
Fortune makes fools of us all.
My sister is prepared
Look,
to sacrifice herself.
There's only one core flame missing at this time, right?
I can't do the same. How absurd. My time is almost up, but I'm still afraid to welcome death. What should we do? If I'm ultimately not able to make up my mind...
Since Chaos is willing to guide all of us and leave this trial to the end, there is still plenty of time for you to ponder.
I wonder if Chaos is...
That's right. Don't allow the fog of an uncertain future to cloud your mind.
Trial, prophecy, the topics that they're discussing seem familiar.
It's almost as if there was a flame chase journey that happened the first time around, like 1,000 years ago. And now a new flame chase journey is happening to redo all of this and to set, like basically reset it and create all these new gods to take over for all these aging gods. Which would play into my sort of comment that if the Titans were once humans, which is what I'm sure Anaxa is also thinking too, then how are the demigods different than the Titans in terms of acquiring that same power?
But these three people must not have left their names in the epics. Otherwise, I would have some recollection of this.
Amphoreus' history before the Titans were born was complete chaos. Is that not strange by itself? I have long held 3 hypotheses about this. However, let's continue watching for now.
Calypso, Polixia, and this warrior. I seem to have met him somewhere before.
I did, recently actually.
Regarding this matter, Nias, are you confident that you'll complete your trial?
Of course. Though, I am worried about what will happen once I've emerged victorious.
Yeah, it almost seems like these are the Titans completing their own flame chase journey. And their own trials to become...
Looks like you have made up your mind.
Yes, this is the safest course of action.
Castrum criminals.
Completely separating courage, honor, tenacity, sacrifice, and reason. You really know how to make things difficult.
Please, young lady, witness my fall and demise. Lady Calypso, you shall host the soul-rending ceremony.
I do not understand. Why would you dare to sacrifice yourself for a future that you won't get to witness?
Because this is our destiny. The power that resides within me is so intense that I will one day be engulfed by it.
Yep, and that's what happened.
Furthermore, a valorous death before glorious return has always been the path I chose to walk. A journey I began long ago. If your sister or Chaos were in my position, I believe they would make the same choice as well.
I'm not that brave. I don't know how I'm supposed to face such a serious affair.
Despite being Death's chosen one, it seems you still don't know how to face it. Let's chat, young lady. Perhaps I shouldn't end my journey so hastily. Since there's still time, I'm not worried about letting fate wait a little longer.
Of course. This warrior is Lord Anias. As the embodiment of Nikador's divinity, he entrusted his life to us and allowed humankind to end his madness.
It's almost like we were witnessing the Lord Anias of the past.
That means that what I'm currently seeing before my eyes is, in fact...
Looks like one hypothesis of mine has already been proven true. These heroes are the true forms of the Titans, before they attained their divinity. If so, the chosen one of death that he speaks of is actually...
Polixia? Is the previous form of Thanatos? But her appearance...
If this is true, as long as we can find out where she went, we'll naturally be able to figure out the location of the Death Titan.
I would have thought that she might recognize something.
But before that, we first need to witness what ultimately happened to Lord Anias.
Alright, well, I'm now casters.
Nikador's courage is a testament that they have never once retreated from a battle.
I've heard that these words are still engraved in Castrum Kremnos even today. It didn't occur to me that they were actually part of an alchemical formula.
Is there any more? There is more.
Lord Anias' honor is sealed here.
Incredible. The honor in this child's soul is so light.
Oh, there's one for each of the 5 things. Okay.
I believe that his tenacity is sealed within this statue.
Before we fought Nikador, we also released it from the stone statue.
Sealed within this statue is undoubtedly his sacrifice.
They used their own body as our city walls, keeping out and protecting us from the pervasive spread of madness. They are acutely aware that if the end times were to arrive, there would be nothing left in this world to conquer.
Honor,
Reason was lost.
courage, tenacity, sacrifice.
And finally, the only thing that remains is reason.
Cheer up, young lady. There is no need to shed tears over a glorious death.
All farewells in this world are sorrowful, Lord Anias.
It's the same thing casters said to him.
No, young lady. As a warrior, I
That's
have
word for
witnessed
word
too many
exactly
bitter
what Casters
deaths.
said to him too.
But now, all I feel is peace. I did not know until this moment that mortals could live their lives in such a way.
Although only a sliver of your soul remains, you remain so optimistic.
You notice that all the
Or maybe
Titans, well, I guess these are
the
Titans
truth
to be
is that
have
you
their
aren't
eyes
able
closed.
to feel sorrow anymore.
To be honest, I don't know either.
I mean,
But
guess we
I am
can't
certain of one thing.
But
This is not an acceptance of death nor apathy toward it. It's not even a feeling of despair. I am just enjoying what remains of my life to the fullest.
Enjoying?
Indeed. Along this journey that we've taken together, not only have I changed the world, I myself have also changed in the process. And now I have reached the journey's end. When I look back and see the grand epic that I've personally written, how could I not revel in that fact?
But when you depart the mortal realm, won't all of your accomplishments be reduced to nothing? Separation and death are two sides of the same coin. Reconciling this doesn't come easily for a mortal.
Finally, let me recount to you a story of mine, young lady.
Okay.
The first time I returned from the battlefield, I felt extremely hollow.
You look so happy in this picture.
The calamity had devoured everybody on the battlefield but me. When I returned to the city alone, the citizens held a banquet for me that was far from pleasant. I felt as though I was still on the battlefield, and the person who had returned was nothing but an empty shell. It was late into the night by the time the banquet ended. My head still reeling, I returned alone to the barracks. On the way back, I encountered someone. It was a crazed scholar looking at the night sky and muttering to himself by the side of the road. Although I tripped over him and fell, I wasn't angry in the slightest. And maybe because I saw myself in him, I inexplicably asked him a question. Do you think that it'd be better if we just died on the roadside like a couple of stray dogs? To my surprise, he shrugged his shoulders and sighed.
How does someone who is currently experiencing death, dying and living, afford the same amount of bliss? Now please go away and don't block my starlight.
Are you trying to say that there is no difference between living and dying? For they are both journeys that lead toward death?
Say there's a big difference, which is if you're dying, it's gonna happen fundamentally faster than if you're living.
And death is
I see what you mean.
But a scale to measure how valuable the journey was. Journeys and epics are only glorious and magnificent because all things eventually fade to dust. Therefore, young lady, don't detest your fate. Instead, willingly and respectfully embrace it.
The embodiment of strife telling me about the majesty of the world.
That is also word for word exactly what Castor said to Nias at the end.
Indeed.
This is so eerie.
I believe that when the fated moment eventually arrives, you will be able to understand my words.
Cass, surely you can put like 2 and 2
It
together
is time
at this
for me
point
to
now.
knock on death's door. I will set up a long table at the end of the road and humbly await your arrival. When that moment finally comes, let us drink and be merry then.
I knew this day would eventually come.
Are the both of you ready?
Mm-hmm. Polixia. I'm here.
It's Castor's.
What? This...
This is quite interesting indeed.
Is this... Polixia's sister? Is it... me? Now, it's time for us to fulfill our promises. Are you afraid? What are you afraid of?
That I won't be able to do it.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. As foretold in the prophecy, and according to our vows, once it all ends, we must face our fated moment head-on.
Even if it was prophesied.
Do we have no say in the matter? It's so unfair. Why are we the only ones who are forced into mutual destruction? Let me do it, sister. Let me be death's sacrifice. I was never long for this world anyway. But you're different. I was the one who wasted your life after all.
You're wrong, Polixia.
I don't think that my life was wasted. Just the opposite. When I finally arrived at this destination and looked back at the journey I took, I discovered that flowers had long since bloomed along the path I walked. It was you who sowed the seeds for this sea of flowers, one that is more beautiful than the promised land at the end of the world. Besides, I have lived a fulfilling life. Even though I was fated for sacrifice, none of the things that I've experienced will dissipate. Instead, they'll forever live on as memories inside your head. Will they not?
It's actually almost creepy to hear somebody so content with knowing that they're about to die in this fashion. But she is somebody who must have had a lot of time to think about this. Yeah, it's just very eerie.
How could my memories of you ever compare to the actual you? Well then, tell me, what exactly are we?
Hey, that's Cersei's question.
I don't know. I don't know either. But regardless of what the answer is, regardless of how we're shaped by others, or even by this world, ever since we were born, the fact that we existed was predestined, and nothing could erase it. This is why I will always, always be by your side. We're twins, after all. All right, my dear Polixia. It's time to extract my heart and light the flame of death. After that, use it to plant the first bud in the prophesied new world.
So did she die and come back to life?
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
I knew I had to leave it there.
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I am certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. Even now, my answer remains the same. This is why, sister, I promise you, in the prophesied new world, I shall plant the first bud on your behalf. Go now. Return to the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown. I shall open wide the entrance to the nether realm and grant you a second life. The living beings on this earth shall respond to my call and lead you to the sacred daylight. Remember, do not look back on the land of the dead, and do not stop moving. In the new world promised by the prophecy, march toward your new life. as for the price of our equivalent exchange, let me be the one to pay it.
Everybody, we've come to the end. Unfortunately, I am not compatible with the Supreme Being, so I was unable to completely fuse their soul into my own body.
Well, that was
However, being able to
I
glean
didn't
all
really
this
want.
from them is exciting
And
enough.
also with Kefali's powers walking around the world. But yeah. I mean, first of all, I'll bring back what I'd said before, which is, like, wasn't it to me it was interesting that Castor's name was Castorus, because I thought, is that like the feminine form of Castor, like Castor and Pollux? And now you have the twins, Castorus and Pollixia. But yeah, so it sounds like Castor sacrificed herself, and somehow Pollixia was able to give her a new life, where she grew up in the same hometown but with no memories of her past life and her sister. And that's probably the animated short about Castorus, where she's like this goddess of death, and well, just anyway, that story, that animated short though, was also really emotional too. But that's probably the beginning of her new life granted to her by Pollixia. But the only question is, what happened to Pollixia? I mean, Castorus is still looking for Thanatos out there. And presumably because of this sacrifice, Pollixia became Thanatos and is somewhere out there. And what exactly is this alchemy that she used to bring Castorus back? And also, I guess just like the story with the princess being revived with the dragon's power and the dragon basically killing everyone in the city, it seems that it sounds like that's when Castorus got these powers to basically everything she touches dies. Except for us, because she tried to touch us and then we didn't die, which is proof that we're already dead. But besides that, yeah, there's still so many more questions.
I'm certain of this now. Before the Titans that we are well acquainted with were born, a group of heroes roamed the land. These heroes followed a prophecy and took possession of divine authorities one by one, until they eventually became the pantheon of the New World.
So, it sounds like the Flame Chase journey that we have in the present is sort of like a refreshing of another Flame Chase journey that happened in the past. Only that there were no, like, original gods back then. Now then these heroes became the Titans and crafted their own version of history, their own mythology. And if that's the case, then the Flame Chase journey is just a renewing of that cycle. But perhaps those Titans, not all of them are willing to relinquish their power, as we've seen, and some of them are. But the thing that seems to have happened to all of them is none of them remember their past lives, or that it seems that they did something similar to the Chrysos heirs of the present to get their divine power. None of them seem to remember that. It's like they've become disconnected from their mortal selves upon becoming immortal. And now I wonder if that's going to happen to all the demigods now as well, once all of them have reclaimed all the core flames. This is so interesting.
Just like the Flame Chase journey of today, Amphoreus' history is cyclical in nature.
Huh. What a startling revelation. This means that the demigods, who bear the core flames, will also become the new Titans at the world's end, thereby shaping a new world?
And that's the Aeronova.
I believe that this is the truth behind the Era Nova, as mentioned in the prophecy.
Okay, all of that makes sense to me, actually. So the only problem is convincing everybody else that this makes sense.
Utterly unbelievable. Besides, those twins in the past, even if they really are Thanatos, their whereabouts are still unknown even today.
Are their whereabouts truly unknown? Didn't Polixia mention that seaside town? The birthplace of alchemy in the tale of the dragon. In our world, there exists a city which perfectly matches that description. Styxia.
But the people there worship Vagusa and bear no relation to Thanatos. I've also never been to that place, as in the time of Idonia, it had long turned into underwater ruins.
Take this.
This is...
Next, I think is getting frustrated with her not putting the puzzle pieces together.
The Philosopher's Stone. It was made by transmuting all of the sages' wisdom into a single entity, with their flesh and blood as its foundation. Remember? I've mentioned before that the art of alchemy is all about conversion, tempering, and ascension. This process also applies to the pursuit of truth. Regardless of how unbelievable this sounds, the truths of the world have been refined from the impurities. Think about the story of the dragon. This stone will lead you to your real hometown, allowing you to reform the door to the nether realm and discover Thanatos' fate.
You still look as confident in your victory as ever. But what if your conjecture is wrong?
Simple. I shall merely admit to the entire world that my experiment
yeah,
is a failure.
I mean, he's gonna die in the same amount of time that we are going to die for real.
However,
so I guess he doesn't have to take
my line of
responsibility.
thinking will not fail because I have already planted the
but
seeds
he's also
of doubt
confident it's
into
not
the
gonna go
hearts of the
wrong.
masses.
I see. See? So he... So, like I said, like, there's no way he's helping Kindness just for the sake of helping Kindness. It's all... In fact, I don't think he's actually helping her at all. It's only because he wants something from her. And for that is basically spreading ideologies out there into the world.
Actions speak louder than words, Castoris. With the assembly about to begin, don't forget the promise you've made.
I've already searched for so long. I'm willing to try one more time. While we converse, her life is also slowly slipping away. But before I leave, I have another question. What exactly did we witness just now?
That was the world imprinted in Kefali's soul. If we are to prove its existence, you must take the final step. Go. Do not disappoint me.
I understand.
Alright, and so Castoris helps him out.
Hey, child of humanity.
Don't get antsy. I still remember the question you posed to me. As a scholar, I do not wish to offer up ambiguous conclusions. Let's discuss this topic
what
again
exactly are
when
we
she
posting?
manages to find the evidence.
I merely wanted to ask, was that stone transmuted from your heart?
What does that sentence even mean?
If so, rebirth is no longer an option for you.
Oh, okay, now I see what it means. Wait, rebirth is no longer an option
Why
for you.
not?
It was an option in the first
When
place?
I was a child, I lost someone dear to me. When I was a teenager, I lost my faith. A while back, although you saved my life, I also lost my soul in the process.
So he's basically saying...
Now I'm merely forsaking my body. What's the big deal?
I could just take a screenshot of this out of context. It would be... It would make him seem so nonchalant, but with the previous page, it sort of makes sense. He's basically saying he's a dead man walking, and from his perspective, he has nothing left to lose. Or rather, how much does he have to lose with losing his body when he's already lost everything else, including his soul? Which I must admit is a rough position to be in.
Why are you always finding ways to die? Isn't it good to be alive?
This is another great screenshot to have. But
This
also true.
is but a necessary sacrifice on my path to transform into the purest of them all.
Can someone who's dead even claim to be the purest of them all? Furthermore, if your hypothesis is proven correct, does it not just confirm that the myths are true?
Well,
And thereby
no, actually, it doesn't
invalidate
prove
all
that the
your
myths are true. In
theories?
fact, it proves that the myths about this world are actually fundamentally false because he's talking about a different history.
It's just the opposite. If my hypothesis is correct, it means that I can actually ascend to godhood and reshape this absurd world that you all have created.
Well, good luck with that. Good plan. Okay.
That's a lot to take in at once.
It is. I mean, I'm not sure Castor's has figured it out yet, but she's clearly the reborn sister who was sacrificed. And when she was reborn with a dark power.
Lady Aglaya, please, let me explain.
Yes, this is all part of the ruse.
Go on.
You know that the core flame of death has always been the greatest unknown regarding the Era Nova, which is why both you and Kindness desire to gain the power to control that core flame in the approaching Citizens' Assembly. Professor Anaxa has come to a consensus with Kindness. They want to suspend the trial once Thanatos' core flame is reclaimed, hoping thus to eradicate death from this world. If they're successful,
I'm not sure how they
then the
plan
flame
to
chase journey
eradicate
will
death
cease,
while holding
and
death in their
Akuma can
hands.
enjoy
Is death
everlasting
something
peace.
that they can control, even if they
But
literally
I
are holding
know
the physical
this runs
manifestation
counter
of it?
to your wishes. So long as we do not usher in Era Nova, the Black Tide will never be eradicated. Even with Lord Mighty on the front line, and the Black Tide not posing an immediate risk, the danger
We're just gonna make
nevertheless
Mighty have
remains.
to work at that for even longer.
Honestly, it's difficult for me to assess the pros and cons in this decision. But someone must bring the core flame before we can begin negotiations over it. The Titan could be very near. I cannot let this chance slip by. Besides, someone has to make this trip to bring back Mrs. Soul.
Oh, thank you.
Well said. You already had every reason to seek an audience with Thanatos. It's that great performer who has weaponized your wishes and placed us in this difficult situation. A world without death. Do you desire that too?
If fate dictates that my path must oppose yours, I will do all I can to resist it and protect what I aspire to achieve. Lord Mighty showed me that without taking the first step, all talk of what follows is moot.
Casters, you've changed. Ensure to save officer smile. Have mercy, Aglaya. Spare your threads. Well, I don't know. I mean, last time Aglaya had Castorus be the executioner, so I don't know which one of us she's picking to be the executioner this time. Sorry,
I have
just don't
always
know what
hoped to hear you speak
I'm
your
still
mind,
processing
Cass.
all of that.
And I am glad to have heard your true thoughts.
Plus, I don't necessarily see this as her betraying us either. Because as Aglaya said, she's always been pursuing Thanatos.
Styxia. I visited that place in the past. Though it is now an island surrounded by the river of Soul's torrents, it's not hard to see its former splendor. Go. I will not stand in your way. As for you, you are someone who has cheated death.
Yeah, you
I
go
believe
look
you
for
have more
death
than enough
because
reason to
apparently
make the
you
trip
were
with
dead.
Castras and meet the god
that
of
sounds
death
good.
himself.
Good idea that not gonna have anything bad happen. But hey, we get to go.
I too look forward to your journey.
We get to go to Styxia.
I wonder what kinds of new interpretations your completed story will bring to the Flame Chase journey.
Thank you, Lady Aklaya.
I hate to put a damper on this heartwarming moment, but if Styxia is now an island surrounded by the River of Souls torrents, then how do we find a way in? Lady Treby is probably...
The answer is quite simple.
We have to die?
In the Mims, Zagreus once made the domain of the dead their treasure vault. That is to say, they could enter and leave the Nether Realm as they pleased. And if they could do that, then it follows that the demigod who inherited their divinity must be capable of the same.
The god of the underworld being the god of riches, too.
I'll see you at Memorial Palace at Action Hour tomorrow. Cypher shall be your guide to finding that ancient city.
Sounds good. Okay, the day ends. The day ends. I think that's also a good place for the stream to end, too. Alright. Oh, a new book. Back to our POV. Speak with Mem. Mem, who can talk now in full sentences even in the real world. Yay! Yeah. That's a lot to take in. As I said, I can already tell Castor's story is going to be super depressing. I mean, if the fact that she has powers over death didn't give it away, I'm sure that whole situation just did. But yeah. It sounds like we have a... Uh-oh. Did I just see the glitch that we dealt with before? Trailblaze log. Interesting. Oh, okay, fine on. Okay, this is just the recap of the whole story. Okay, great. Yeah. Oh, there's a seal! I know, sorry to, I mean, like, everything was so depressing, but look, it's a seal! How can we be sad when there's a seal? Speaking of which, don't you notice Castor's cell phone case has, like, a really adorable unicorn chimera on it? That's so cute! Okay. What else? We completed Oryx's trial. Good for us. Apparently I defeated 2 bugs. Summon, Netherwing Pollux. It's Pollux and Polyxia. I wonder what the connection is there. I actually wonder. Because obviously there's a connection between Castorus and Polyxia, and a connection between Castorus and the dragon Pollux. I assume we will find that out soon. And also, I started reading the book. But it looks like there's more stories to add now, which is great. Look how cute this seal is, though. Castorus would love playing with this seal. She has a dark history, but still manages to find joy in life. And there's one more thing I was wanting to do here.
This place is rich with the sweet scent of flowers.
That was... Oh, sorry.
Can I stay here for a while longer?
Sure. In this game, she doesn't get interrupted. I am trying to figure out... I was trying to figure out how to get the nymph food, which I pointed out earlier. Hello, Kefali. Nothing's happened to you yet. There it is. There's a nymph on the... How do I get it? How do I get it? Is what I've been wondering this whole time. I thought it would be obvious. It's actually not. Yeah, is that Kefali's core flame in there? Catch! I caught it! I am the knight summoned by my master, seeking the truth that dispels the fog of ignorance and reveals the work. Oh my gosh, this is so disifying. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. I think is that the last nymph? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been collecting them as I was just exploring this before we went into the story. That's not the right way. Where is it? It's right down here. It's down here. Yeah, obviously. See, the thing is, Anaxa has all these theories. He hasn't even talked to us yet. But if he's thinking that the Titans were basically regular people, just like the Chrysos heirs, or I guess they're not regular people, but you know, destined humans, and that the Flame Chase is just sort of a renewing or cycling of Amphoreus of the past, he should talk to us because he's brought up a good question, which is like, you know, the Titans didn't create this world and they didn't create people. I'm sure he would love to learn more about the world from beyond the sky before he dies in 15 days. Actually, no, I don't think he would, because he really seems not that interested in it and wasting his remaining 15 days, even though he seems to proclaim that it can't come soon enough. But I wonder if we could answer any of his questions about, you know, if not the Titans, then who out there was the beginning of all of this? Remember, when we tried to come to Amphoreus, we couldn't see it even at first until Black Swan did like this thing so we could see it. And this place does seem to have some connection to the Eons, but the people here don't know anything about the Eons. And they have their own lore, but their lore seems to be this sort of illusion that's cycling back on itself based on faith and belief in what they have because they have no other alternative understanding of the world. But here we come along and we have answers about what the world outside this place is like, and I'll be honest, I don't think necessarily I highly doubt they can stop people from dying just because they have the core flame of death. And I can say that because I'm pretty sure outside of Amphoreus, people are still gonna keep dying. And that's the sort of thing that's just like, outside of the realm of belief that they have, exists a whole world where everything differs from their belief. So Anaxa should really come to us and try to get a better understanding of that. Even if just out of curiosity. Anyway, I don't think he really does curiosity. Yep. Of unfinished. I found all the nymphs. The many prophecies. I still don't really understand the prophecies that the garment makers give us. Well, mostly because like some of them it's like they only give you half a piece, it sounds like. Oh, sounds like it's still one half fun to grasp. Okay, maybe it's not half a piece, but it's just like the chirping of insects guides the pilgrim's path. Quite straightforward. Well, that seems to be quite literal. Okay, that is good. Sounds good. All right. Well, maybe I'll play through a little bit more, maybe not. Sounds like we're going to Styxia next. And there's a lot of story to be found then. So, yeah. I guess I will see you all in the next episode. Bye, everyone.